to hang out with all those guys. I needed to have a decent haircut.
Good. That's right. I'm going to blur this.
Inside this room, all of my dreams become realities, and some of my realities become dreams.
All my life I've awaited your coming and dreaded it.
I like them French fried potatoes.
Insanity runs in my family. Practically gallops.
I always have a wonderful time wherever I am, whomever I'm with.
This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Hard to believe it is happening. It's the Al Travis Show, and it is finally Suicide Prevention on the Air Day. And we're very excited to do this, and we'll talk all about it throughout the day today. I'd like to introduce our guest today. We've got him from S.A.V.E..org, Erich Mische, and also John Apitz. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being on the program today.
Morning.
Thanks for having us, Al. It's always a delight to see you.
It is our pleasure. We're going to talk a lot about it today. Suicide Prevention on the Air Day across the state of Minnesota. Just want to get it out, and we'll do this a lot. If any of the things we talk about today hits you wrong, 988. Text or call 988 for the assistance that you need. Real quickly, I don't know, John, Erich, you've been on the program now once a month, I think, every first Friday of the month for, what, a year? I don't know.
A little over, about a year, yeah.
Okay. So we get chatting about how possibly do something bigger. September is Suicide Awareness Month, and said, okay, let's do something about it. And basically it was like we'd do a nice big show about this, a little bigger than our usual. And then we get talking, you and your staff. By the way, lovely staff. Couldn't be more pleasant. We said, okay, let's do this. Al's in 10 radio stations across the state. Let's ask those organizations if they'd help out. And by that we mean run the ads. Let them know this is going to be a big day for us. And every one of them said yes. And then we get talking, well, people at the Hubbard Broadcasting, Linder Farm Network. And we just said, well, talk to all the people in the radio, man. And we did that. And as we sit here, I know of 55 radio stations that are helping us out today. That is remarkable to me, and I want to say thank you to every one of them that played the ads. We'll see how this works out financially for us in the end. But I couldn't have asked for more of a response, and I want to say thank you for them for doing that. I thank you for giving us this opportunity. This is Minnesota radio trying to help out. Your thoughts here?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, thank you, Al. I mean, it's first, I was sharing with John yesterday, the idea that any radio program would dedicate a half hour once a month talking about suicide, pretty incredible, right? It's a remarkable gift to the work that we do and our mission in trying to raise awareness about suicide and how we prevent suicide. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about today. It's about raising awareness about suicide. It's about talking about suicide, talking about resources. 988, incredible resource. Where it SAVE's website, S.A.V.E..org, a lot of resources. It's also an opportunity to raise some money. Part of my job as the CEO of S.A.V.E., I'm kind of like a priest at Catholic Mass. Part of my job is to make sure that you kind of shake down the community a little bit. So today, every donation that's made online at S.A.V.E..org is going to be matched dollar for dollar by the TOSA Foundation. Whether that's $1, it's be $2, $10, $20. Got $1 million to donate, it'd be $2 million. So this is a great day to raise awareness, great day to talk about a tough subject matter, and a great day to be on the radio with my good friend John Apitz, who is also a S.A.V.E. board member as well.
Well, that's good, guys. So, John, how do you get involved with this? How do you link yourself up with S.A.V.E.? How did you get there?
I joined the board of S.A.V.E. about 2 years ago. When Erich invited me to come on, he was looking for somebody to help with legislative work that S.A.V.E. does at the state capitol. And I've been at this for about 40 years, starting way back with the United States Senator, and subsequently spent time, many years at the state capitol, working on a whole host of issues. This one, and this particular set of issues, and the issue we worked on, which was the Washington Avenue Bridge between the campuses of the University of Minnesota, was just became critically important. I used my minimal talents to good purpose, I think, and helped make a difference in that particular project.
Would you say Erich's quite a bit of a user? Because here's my point. You meet him as I'm not, because now, Erich, you have worked at the Capitol in your past as well, so I presume that's where you guys would have become acquainted, working at the Capitol. Is that?
Yeah.
You're shaking your head. It's radio. Okay. So then you meet him. And you like him, good, nice enough guy, no problem there. But then he finds out what you can do, and he uses you, right? Now all of a sudden you're on this board. I'll bet you had to do a spare key too, right? That's where I met him, was spare key and that floating down the Mississippi thing he did to raise money. Is that where? Right?
Not quite as intensely as S.A.V.E, but certainly it all kind of centered around the float down the Mississippi River. When I said, Erich, you're going to die. You're gonna and he said, I'm not, and I will, and he did.
And just quick background. It was Spare Key, right? Am I getting the name right, Eric? Yeah, Spare Key was an organization. That's how I met Erich. He was going to go down this Mississippi. I'm like, a fool from Minnesota. If I can get him to just call me on a regular basis on the way down, it'll fill some time for me, and I got to know Erich, and it was wonderful. And check out sparekey.org as well. That's a great organization.
I think Al was really hoping that sometime during that call there would be a mishap so they could get that on live radio.
Shark!
It would go viral, and I think that's really what he was looking for. I will say this, Al. John represents just one of many incredible board members that we have on S.A.V.E, who all bring really unique talents and skills to the work that we do. John sells himself short when he talks about his minimal talents. It wasn't just the Washington Avenue Bridge that John played a lead role in, but also the work that we're doing in social media, trying to protect kids online. You really need to have people who have the kind of skill sets that John and others on our board have if you want to create the kind of impact that S.A.V.E is trying to do in this space. So I'm fortunate. You mentioned my staff at the beginning. Incredible, dedicated, passionate staff, and a really, really talented board of directors.
And we're going to hear some more from those as the day goes on here today. Just real quick, the Washington Avenue thing, and I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to call it a net, but I presume that's not what it's called. But you guys got passed, right? That then anytime they're going to put a safety barrier for people who would want to hurt themselves on that bridge, right? That's what, and you have that passed this year, right, John?
Yeah, actually, it's basically a fence. It's a barrier that people can't get over or around.
Okay.
And that bridge has been there for 50 years, and there has been no barrier on that bridge for 50 years. And the unfortunate truth is that a lot of people lost their lives because nothing had been done. And so MJ Weiss, who I think you've been introduced to, came to us and said, after her daughter took her life from that bridge, could you help me fix this situation? And it took us 18 months. It took us 2 legislative sessions to get the money to do that. But indeed, the last in May, it happened, and we were quite happy about that.
Okay, so you get that done. But am I not mistaken? And I might be. Didn't you also get past that future bridges that are built have to consider safety guards like that, or is that the next step?
That's the next step.
Next step. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you were talking about real quickly to show what S.A.V.E does, SAVE.org does, you guys got passed again, I believe, this digital warning sign on social media for kids, right? They're going to have to do this thing. Hey, watch out. And I don't know if you have the actual wordage down yet, but you got that passed too, right? In Minnesota, they're going to have to put that up.
Yeah, that was Representative Zach Stevenson, really, who's now the new
Speaker of the House.
No. Got that legislation through, and we were proud to be able to support that, along with Bridget Noring, who lost her son he purchased legal drugs on Snapchat. So, again, kind of emphasize, we have 3 people on our board of directors. John is one of them, another Bill Hupenbecker and Edwin Torres, who are experts in this space of government and local government, and truly a gift to our work. Allows us to understand, who should we be talking to, what are some of the pitfalls of some of these bills. And so Representative Stevenson's bill was the first bill of its kind in the entire country that was passed that requires warning labels on social media. They're still working on that language.
I love that, but that's kind of the thing about S.A.V.E. We're going to go to break. We'll be back. We'll talk more about it on the other side. But if you're looking for an organization that takes the idea of suicide seriously and how we can prevent it, they do the work in all aspects. We're talking there are ways of helping out in a government level. There's talking about ways of helping out by calling 988. There's ways of getting a website up that if you want to know how to talk to somebody who's feeling that way, they've got a program. Doesn't cost you anything to go. This is an all-encompassing program that I just love to be a part of. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about some of those other ancillary things that you guys do. It's SAVE.org, and I should remember the name of the day is Suicide Prevention on the Air Day. You go to SAVE.org today, SAVE.org, hit the donate button. Anything you give, and please give till it hurts just a little bit, anything you give will be matched dollar per dollar. More after this.
September is Suicide Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness, support survivors, and save lives. Here in Minnesota, September 24th is Suicide Prevention on the Air Day. Every dollar raised will support S.A.V.E, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, providing education, advocacy, and programs of hope. And on that day, your gift will go twice as far because every donation will be matched dollar for dollar. Visit save.org to see our work, learn how you can help, and donate. Remember September 24th because every voice can save a life.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Amongst friends, the Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
We've had Erich, Mische, CEO of S.A.V.E. on the program, as well as John Apitz, who is on their board. Let's get to the political part of all this, because that's the most fun for me. John, as long as I know you're a political guy, here's what I want. I love that you got those two things done. What I don't understand, and Erich and I have talked about this, I recall way back when I was a kid, we took resuscitation training classes in case I walked up upon somebody having a heart attack, right? We had to get certified, and it was all that. How is there not a program for how to handle folks if you think they may be in a mental crisis? How is it we don't have some way of, how do you talk to your buddy if he says something that seems off-putting? What do we do? How do we not have that in health class? Let's make it happen.
That's a wonderful question. And before we go any further with that, I'm just going to say I need to make a correction here. Zach Stevenson, who helped us so much on the social media bill, is not the Speaker of the House. Excuse me, he's the leader of the Democratic Caucus. And my apology to Lisa DeMuth on that as well. She is the Speaker of the House. So that all said, it's like many things, Al. It takes time to inject this into the public's understanding of what issues are really of consequence that need to be dealt with. I don't think we had mandatory resuscitation training, but people understood how important that was. I was yesterday just watching, I was watching the news last night, and there was a woman whose father had a heart attack at the football game, and a bunch of people came, and a nurse was there and helped with with CPR. The point of that being, at the end of that program, they said everybody should learn CPR. And you say to yourself, you know what? That's a darn good idea. But before that happens, we have to cultivate people's understanding of how important that is. Same thing with this. People for years have shied away from the conversations about suicide. It's a delicate subject. It's a difficult subject. And it takes time to help people understand why we need to talk about this, why we need to talk about mental health, why we need to talk about helping folks. We found this when we went up there and talked about the Washington Avenue Bridge. This is a delicate subject, and we didn't receive an immediate, that's a great idea type of approach. There were several steps to it, help people be comfortable with the idea and then help people overcome the fear of dealing with the idea.
You see, and I get it, because at the Capitol, it's all about the money, what's it going to cost, and yada yada. And if it was free to put them up, I don't think you'd have any pushback at all. But and I get it, even schools. If Al's going to push, I want this training in school. Well, look at this. It's there on S.A.V.E.org, the One Step Ahead program. Just have the kids sit there and watch the thing one day in health class, and they're going to be better off than not. I didn't even, and again, back to the S.A.V.E. website, and I'm trying to get a little mad already. This I-beam thing, I didn't know this. Suicide prevention training for the construction industry. Evidently, the construction workers are one of the highest levels that commit suicide. I had no clue. And the fact S.A.V.E. goes out and makes a personalized construction job video, or, this is what we need. And Erich, you've already made it. Let's just get this in schools. The One Step Ahead. Everybody watches this green bandana project you got. Maybe talk about that too. This stuff just makes sense. It's 2 days in health class.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I would say. And to kind of piggyback on John's point, part of this, Al, is your commitment to giving us a half hour every month is a big deal, right? Because we say the word suicide on the radio, right? We talk about 988, and that if you're struggling, or if you know somebody who's struggling, you call or text or chat 988. Here's what I will say. I think as we look at the upcoming legislative session, we are clearly going to push for more robust suicide prevention training in elementary school, at middle school, and high school. We have a lot of resources dedicated to mental health. That's credible and enormously important. We need to kind of get to the next step in dealing with ending the stigma about suicide and starting to actually have young kids at an earlier age start having those conversations, being trained to understand where they can get help and resources. It's not just teaching teachers to be able to understand it. It's teaching young kids about, here are the risk factors. Here's what you got to do if you're struggling. Here's what you can do to help someone who may be struggling, right? So
yeah, absolutely. Erich, we're going to get you obviously on throughout the day. John, I don't want to let you go without giving you the last minute. I got a minute before we go. Why should folks help out today on this day of all days?
Oh, because essentially this is an issue that affects everyone. I was amazed. I haven't had anybody who's been involved with suicide in my family, but I've met people, you've met people, everybody listening here, somebody who's been affected by this issue. It's like any other health issue, and it in many ways is a crisis that needs to be addressed. As you're doing this morning, as we're doing with S.A.V.E. Throughout the state, and as we're doing up at the legislature, to help people become comfortable and deal with the issue of suicide.
Well, with what you were saying, Erich, 55 radio stations, I know more might have if they're playing the ads, I don't know. 55 radio stations saying it's okay to talk about this. If it hits your ear wrong again, go 988, text or call 988. And if any of this interests you, please go to S.A.V.E.org and take a look around at what we're talking about, this organization. If you want to help in no other way, go on the Al Travis Show Facebook page and share the page that John made this morning and talking about what we're doing. Share it, put it out there to all your friends so we can spread the word. If that's the least anybody can do is put that out there to all their friends on Facebook, I think we're going to make a move. Is that fair?
Fantastic.
That's great.
Erich, we'll get you back. John, a pleasure to meet you, my friend. You need anything from me, you let me know.
Look forward to seeing you again.
Right. More coming up after this.
September 24th is Suicide Prevention on the Air Day in Minnesota. Every